Reimagining Success, episode 162. You're listening to Reimagining Success, the podcast where we help you reimagine your future, designing a life and career beyond the 9 to 5 that allows you the freedom, flexibility and fulfillment that you've been dreaming of. I'm your host, Anna Lundberg. Now, let's get started on those dreams. Hello, and welcome to the final episode of 2021. 2021, it's been an interesting one, to say the least. Better, worse than the previous year, I don't know. It's been interesting, I think is the word, and absolutely a difficult one for many of us. For me, it's meant learning to manage the family with 2 kids. I had my second little baby in November last year, so I've got the 2 now. And as much as possible, putting my mental and physical health at the forefront. It's definitely been needed, but also quite challenging, of course, and managing my business alongside as well. So I recognize that I've been very lucky, and I'm grateful for this past year, for the support I've had, for my family, for our health. And I know it's been so tough in so many ways. So whatever you've been through this year, here's to a better, a more positive, lighter, easier, optimistic future, I guess, 2022 and beyond. Now, if you've been part of my community for a while, if you've listened to the podcast or been in my group or used any of my resources, you'll know I talk about the 5 L's of a balanced life, a balanced definition of success. And this is not intended to put pressure on us to try to achieve in lots of different areas of our life. Oh, we've got to run a marathon and we've got to have the successful business and, right? It's more to shift our focus away from the usual focus on only the work domain, because that tends to be where we get obsessed by the nature of, I think, society's expectations. And that's what we do most of the time if we have a job, if we're working. Now, out of obligation, I guess sometimes we shift our focus away from certain areas. What we want to make sure, though, is that we're doing it with our eyes open, I suppose. We're doing it because we know why we're doing it. Okay, right now, I can't focus on a massive career push because I have the kids and I'm homeschooling, for example, because of COVID, let's say. Or right now, I can't start a new business because I need to be taking care of my health, my family's health, and so on. And those are really important priorities. Or we have to, because we have no choice. So whether it's by choice or not, at least being aware of those decisions we're making and the shifts away or towards different areas. Now, the 5 L's, as a recap, or if you're new to the community, are live, love, learn, lead, laugh. So live is health and well-being, love, relationships, belonging, learn, development and growth, lead, career and impact, and laugh, fun and spontaneity. And for this last one, by the way, I came across Eve Rodsky's book, Fair Play. I've just bought it. I haven't read it yet, or maybe I will have by the time you listen to this episode. On recording, I haven't. But she talks about unicorn space. And this is something I'm definitely going to be trying to making more time for next year, because it's that magic, that thing that is interesting, that makes you interesting, that is the essence of who you are, whether it's a sense of spirituality or creativity, having fun. It's something that you're not just doing for, I'm going to the gym or exercising, or I need to learn because of my work or whatever. It's really that unicorn space is magical, right? So I love that idea, and I hope you do too if you haven't come across that before. For me, looking back, of course, this is a time of reflection, and we're doing so in the Facebook group. I've been running a free workshop on this as well, that hopefully you may have seen around. I've been, I think, quite successfully, I want to say, and I use that term lightly, focusing on these different 5 areas. So I'm pleasantly surprised, because it hasn't been quite with intention, and it has been a tough year. But actually, if I take the health and well-being, I'm actually fitter and stronger and at a lower weight than I've been in over a decade. Now, it's not about the weight on the scales, but certainly I feel really good. I've been working with a personal trainer and nutritionist, and I don't feel like I've been doing any kind of hard diet or anything, been really just managing nutrition and moving and so on. And I feel really good about that. So that's something I've really focused on, of course, after the 2 pregnancies. I like to think I've got a strong relationship with my partner. Community, we've moved to a new area, so we don't have so many friends. We've got some family nearby. We've got some really lovely friends. So that's been an important one. In terms of learning, I signed up to a positive psychology course last year during lockdown, and I finally finished that this year. So I'm really thrilled with that. It took a lot longer than I'd hoped, but certainly a good investment of my time and money in upskilling for my coaching. I've also, as ever, worked in a business mastermind, meeting other experts, other personal brand entrepreneurs, and learning from someone who's further ahead in the business than I am. Now, there's been so much that I've done in business action. It's a lot of it's been behind the scenes in terms of the lead, the career and impact, because I'm so impatient about making a bigger impact and reaching more people. And I haven't necessarily made the time for that this year with the two little kids at home and so on. However, I've done all sorts of things. I did a new photo shoot. So I've got new photography, new brand design for both my business, my company, and my personal brand, restaged both of my websites, again, both onestepoutside.com and annalundberg.com. I've been running live workshops. I ran the Escape Plan Challenge 5 days. I've done a new masterclass live. I did a personal brand session. I did a business model session. I've created new resources, lead magnets, as we call them in the biz, email sequences, and I have so much confidence now in what I have to offer. So although it's been a lot of behind the scenes stuff, I really feel like I've laid the foundation, spent a lot of money, and that is really an investment. And next year, I'm really planning on hitting the ground running and getting that out into the world. And this unicorn space, I think, has been the final one. The laugh, the fun, spontaneity has been a challenge. I've chosen to focus on fitness in terms of running and weights and so on. I believe Eve Rodsky says I'm not allowed to count that as the unicorn space, but it has been important for my own mental well-being, and I do enjoy it. I've had a few little one girly dinner, I've started having baths, maybe that's more well-being. So the unicorn space is definitely an area where I'd like to make more time, make more of a focus. But I think hopefully we can all do that in the coming year as the kids get a bit older. Both of them are starting nursery, and also COVID, of course, lets up a little bit. Now, when it comes to the podcast, reflecting a bit on the podcast, we're at over 160 episodes, many thousand downloads. And again, it's so easy to be impatient. I'm learning to enjoy the ride and value the process. I talked about enjoying the journey just a few weeks ago. It's really easy to get caught up in wanting more downloads. I see these people who have, 7 million downloads, and oh my goodness, how on earth is that happening? Of course, they've been in business for 10, 20 years longer than I have, right? But of course, we want to get higher in the top 100 list. We want to be that best-selling author and top 50 marketing podcasts, whatever. As I record this, actually, I was just reminded I'm in the top 5% of podcasts globally. And that's amazing. And to be honest, whatever the number, I want to take this opportunity to say I'm so, so grateful for each of you as a listener who takes the time to tune in. I know how valuable that time is, to trust me, to listen, to apply what you're learning, and maybe also taking that next step, joining the Facebook group, joining one of my workshops, or moving on to work with me. So I want to say thank you. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you for being a part of the One Step Outside community. It means so much to me. And again, it's so easy to lose sight of what is right in front of you in that rush to get to the next level, to get to more people. And you forget, that if you've got 100 people in your group, 1,000 people, 10,000, can you imagine having those people in a room? My goodness, if I had, I think it's, let's say, 20,000, 50,000 downloads, I can't even begin to picture what that means in terms of, minutes, hours listened, people listening and engaging and hopefully making changes, whether it's using the 5 L's model or using the 5 pillars of that business and life outside the 9 to 5. Beginning to redefine success. Whatever lesson you're taking, I'm so, so grateful again to you for tuning in, listening, trusting me. So thank you so much for this year, for 2021. Thank you for being part of the community. And I wish you every success in 2022, whatever that looks like for you. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the new year. Take care.
Thanks for listening to Reimagining Success with Anna Lundberg. If you're getting value from the show, I would be really grateful if you could give me a rating and review so that more people can find us and start reimagining success for themselves. Thank you so much for your support.